Marvel earned only $25,000 from Blade. At the time, the company was in serious financial trouble and fighting to avoid bankruptcy. Since Marvel didn't have the resources to produce its own films, it sold character rights for upfront cash instead of profit-sharing deals. The rights to Blade were sold to New Line Cinema under these conditions. To get the project approved, the Blade concept had already cost Marvel significant concessions. From the very beginning, screenwriter David S. Goyer had only one actor in mind for the role, Wesley Snipes. Executives at New Line believed only 3 actors were suitable for Blade: Wesley Snipes, Denzel Washington, and Lawrence Fishburne. But Goyer was convinced from day one that Snipes was the perfect choice. In the comics, Deacon Frost was portrayed as a mad German scientist who had lived since the 19th century, obsessed with immortality and kidnapping humans for vampire experiments. For the film, however, the character was redesigned as a younger, more modern villain. Goyer originally wanted to introduce Morbius in Blade and make him the main antagonist in the sequel. That plan was abandoned because Morbius was a Spider-Man character owned by Sony. At one point, David Fincher considered directing Blade and even worked with Goyer on the script. He wanted to give the film a philosophical edge, suggesting ideas like, on the path to enlightenment, you must kill your mother, your father, and Buddha. For unknown reasons, Fincher eventually left the project. UCLA linguistics professor Victoria Fromkin was hired to create a vampire language for the film. By blending Russian and Czech words, she developed a Transylvanian-style language, but it ended up appearing in only 2 scenes. The character of Whistler, Blade's mentor, was originally created for a brief scene in the 1994 animated series Spider-Man: The Animated Series. Marvel's CEO liked the character so much that he was brought into the Blade universe and portrayed in the film by Chris Christopherson. Before the movie, Blade had only starred in one solo comic series, Blade the Vampire Hunter, a 10-issue run published between 1994 and 1995. According to producer Robert Engelman, working with director Stephen Norrington was extremely difficult due to his erratic behavior. Still, Norrington personally designed many of the sets and vampire transformations, proving his strong visual creativity. Wesley Snipes enjoyed playing a ruthless yet celebrated character like Blade, but his habits of arriving late, leaving early, and insisting that Blade speak as little as possible led some on set to view him as lazy. For the massive vampire Pearl, an extremely complex costume was built on a hydraulic platform. It took 45 minutes to an hour to put on and required actor Eric Edwards along with 2 puppeteers to control the arms. Because of Pearl's size, entire sections of the set were built specifically around the character. During the hospital attack scene, an extra slipped, fell, and seriously injured himself, requiring a real hospital visit. His burn makeup terrified the medical staff. Another stunt involving Snipes jumping onto a ledge had to be reshot multiple times until a stunt double completed it. Many handheld shots in the film were captured using a unique camera with a custom anamorphic lens, one of a kind at the time. The young vampire fighting Blade was played by martial arts competitor Ebony Adams, a student of boxer and actor Billy Blanks. Blade's iconic one-liner was improvised by Wesley Snipes on set during a brainstorming session for Deacon Frost.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Goyer loved it and added it to the script. Blade's intricate tattoos were designed by Stephen Norrington and became a defining visual element of the character. A deleted scene revealed that Blade's sword originally belonged to Whistler's family, passed down from generations of vampire hunters. Early script drafts also suggested that Pearl might have been a gay character, but those elements were removed from the final film. Norrington and Goyer decided that crosses wouldn't affect vampires, reasoning that symbols from one religion wouldn't necessarily harm vampires from different cultural backgrounds. Blade's weapons include a modified Ingram Mac-10 machine pistol firing silver bullets and a Benelli M3 Super 90 shotgun capable of using both silver stakes and standard ammunition. The Shadow Council, composed of 12 pure-blood vampires, is named after Erebus, the Greek god of darkness. Whistler introduces himself as Abraham, a clear reference to Abraham Van Helsing from Bram Stoker's Dracula. Norrington appears briefly as a vampire in The Street, while Stan Lee was meant to cameo as a police officer, though his scene was cut. An early line revealed that Blade was surgically removed from his mother's womb, symbolizing his birth trauma and hatred of vampires, but it was later removed. The film's original ending featured Deacon Frost transforming into the blood god Lamagra. Test audiences disliked it, so the now iconic sword fight finale was filmed instead, despite the added cost. Blade became Marvel's first major critical and commercial success in cinema, proving that superhero films could still work after failures like Batman and Robin. The film earned over $131 million worldwide, though Marvel saw little of the profit due to its earlier licensing deals. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of another video. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Scene Diary for more behind-the-scenes stories from cinema history. See you in the next one.